Hey, what is up guys, Master here back to do another video, and today I've got a pretty nice game on Tournament Odyssey to share with you all. It's going to be a Steel Talon versus Reaper 17 game. It's going to be Mammoth tanks, it's going to be tripods, there's also going to be a bunch of other units involved as well. But if you like armor battles, then boy is this the game for you. Anyways guys, hope you all enjoy this one here, and this is Master Leaf, peace out. Also the DPS of the Corruptor against buildings could be increased as well. This is something to consider.
Construction complete. Cannot deploy here. New construction options. Construction complete. New construction options. Construction
Some of the bullets, I understand where you're getting to, but the thing is, the Shard Launcher AA turret get one-shots the Firehawk as is. So why doesn't the $3,000 base defense do that? I'm going to nerf the Shard Launcher damage. So it's not all nah, because the Shard Launcher upgrade with the AA turret is being nerfed. But I would like the instantaneous DPS of the Storm Column, especially considering you're paying $3,000 for it to work. All it would require is for GDI to send in an Orca Strike to bait the Storm Column. You can do it with anything really. It's not hard. It's not like it's going to change much, but it does make it a little harder to execute the Scrin Tech Assembler Def. It's already the most powerful in the game, but I told you, man, it's not going to be the same stats. You're assuming that this is going to not change. The fact of the matter is, if the Shard Launcher AA turret is nerfed, then your argument is no longer valid. And it's not the DPS of the Shard Launcher turret that's which is necessary. It's the fact its clip size is very big. It's like 3 or 4 times the clip size of the regular shard with the regular plasma missile battery. The only difference is it does the same DPS, but shoots more. And you need the damage to be quick, instantaneous. Okay. So he sees this, of course. I may be making a mistake here. Alright guys, I'm going to provide some dubbed commentary because I'm not going to talk very much from this point on, so just so it doesn't feel so void of commentary, I'm going to provide some dubbed commentary here. This is not me talking in real time. So this is Tournament Odyssey. I'm moving in with my rig. Okay. Bunch of rifles there will scout what he is up to, so I know in advance if I need to queue Titans or Wolverines. If I see a bunch of infantry like the Synths, I would queue Wolverines instead from my War Factory, but I'm pushing Titans. Titans to kill the photon cannons mostly. Shard Walkers are kind of useless if you get a bunch of Titans out. I'm building a second MCV because I'm upgrading AP ammo, and if you're upgrading AP ammo, what's better than 1 MCV? It is 2 MCVs, because I'm going to be able to spam double watchtowers. But also I'm going to expand to my Tiberium field as well, so this is dual purpose. It's making him believe that I'm really all in here, when as a matter of fact I'm going to build a second MCV and move that to my expansion. So here comes my rig. I've got that in the expansion TIV field, starting to chip away at these base defenses. Of course those Shard Walkers are pretty useless here. He did build them because there is a chance of me going Orcas. I do have a tendency of building Orcas, but this game I did another variant of the Rig Rush which had no airfield. So I'm trying to get some damage on this drone ship, which in hindsight was probably a bit of a mistake because the drone ship does have the most health of any key scrin structure. And this Titan trying to crush some units, getting a bit back to repair as well. I've got an MRT there as well, just for healing that rig. In fact, I think the MRT fell early, which was unfortunate because they do repair buildings for free. Here comes a dev tank. He's going to get some damage on that rig. As you see, that is taking pretty big damage now. I don't like spilling these secrets, but if you build cannon damage units, you will do more damage to the battle base, which is the deployed rig. It is very resistant to rocket damage, but it takes more cannon. Now I've got all these AP ammo watchtowers coming down, all that AP ammo damage, very lethal against the somewhat biological life forms that are the Skrin. They're biological and also mechanical. But they take a lot of gun damage compared to the Nod and GDI units, so these towers are going to be killing his units. He probably has no needs engaging here, but I'm fortunate that he is. At this point, I really should have got down a second war factory. I'm just going to make sure I can see when I start talking and when I don't. As I said, I don't talk very much in this game, so I'm going to provide this commentary. He's now beginning to get down those photon cannons, and the corruptor as well will do decent damage to structures. Of course, it is designed to counter structures. It has more armor as well. It's even getting healed up by that warp sphere. A second corruptor comes down. He can start healing that one up, as he's doing here with his other corruptor. And this tower push is now doomed to fail. He's got an expansion set up. I set up my refinery not in the best of positions. So ultimately that didn't do anything. I'm very much behind here. Yeah, there's 3 corruptors out. I do have my MCV, but for how long that's going to last, I don't know. I really should have got a war factory down by now, because one thing is nice about being steel tanks. You can get a war factory down and just queue a Titan, and these corruptors will be hopeless to do anything, because the Titan can crush them. No need to split my refineries in this matchup, so I can put them together. I'm not going to get destroyed like I would against Nod. Now, one thing you can do to temporarily not take damage is pack up your MCV. I chose not to do that here. And I'm not sure if there's a bonus for getting the last shot on a structure. I know structures give experience over time to units, but I don't know if there's like a reward for getting the last shot on them. That's something I may want to look at. So he's got a dev tank out here. I got 2 guiding cannons, which is a really nice addition from me before I lost my MCV. These guiding cannons were buffed in 1.02 plus. They're not those weak guardian cannons that we used to have in 1.02. So he's going to have some trouble dealing with this still. He's going dev tanks. He's trying to get this out of his base. This war factory is just a real nuisance for him to deal with. I've even got a barracks there as well, which I can queue riflemen from if he does build a portal. But of course he can just put down a buzzer hive and kill anything that spawns in. He's also got corruptors, so that's kind of useless. And I forgot to queue stuff. This Titan is going to pop out. He's not going to get too much done, unfortunately. I do have a second refinery on my expansion, like he does, and I have more tip to harvest. I think I've been overall a bit more cost effective on my 2 tip fields compared to my opponent. I get a nice crush there with the Titan, so it wasn't killed for free. And we're going to start sending off these structures here just to scout my opponent's base to see what he could be up to. As you see, I've got that AP ammo as well, so I can kill buzzers with ease if I come up against any. So now I know I'm really behind in the tech tree. So instead of getting a tier 3 now and waiting an eternity for railguns to finish to compete with his tripods, I'm going to go for an unorthodox strategy. I'm going to go for a lot of orcas, and I did spot the storm riders because my opponent here knows that I have the tendency of going mass orcas. And when I say mass orcas, man, I mean I just throw the kitchen sink at him with orcas. That's how many orcas I'm talking about here. I even get the hard points upgrade, which is one of the most underused upgrades in Kane's Draft. It is $2,500, 1 minute 15 to build, I believe. I've been told that the upgrade time is half the value. Interesting. Of the it takes half the time as the value of that upgrade. So if AP ammo costs $2,000, it will take a minute to complete. Or I believe that's how it works. So I've got 6 orcas out. He knows, well, he kind of knows I'm going for aircraft because I did this to him numerous times before, and of course he didn't do too well against them. Storm Riders are the best counter to these orcas here. Orcas not particularly armored. He gets a buzzer in to detect the orcas. V35 Ox on a continuous waypoint. I'm going to use that to spot for the Storm Riders. He's going to see my MCV. Now, something he could have done here was he could have dropped a lightning spike and stopped me from deploying my MCV. But fortunately, he didn't do that. I'm going to sneak into his base with these orcas and kill the harvesters. I don't think he saw the orcas, or he would have almost certainly put down some AA turrets. I did kill myself 2 harvesters there, and now these aren't hardpoint orcas, so they're not going to get as much surprise attack damage dealt as I would have liked. I did kill 2 harvesters because he is Reaper 17. Of course, he gets shielded harvesters. If they weren't shielded, he would lose 3. So now I'm upgrading that hardpoints upgrade, and I'm repairing my MCV as well. Split up my units, but I believe I should have enough to kill these Storm Riders here. I'm pulling the Harvester into my slingshots, and I've now got 8 totals of these units here, and I'm upgrading hardpoints. And he's going to lose a couple Storm Riders here to the Slingshot. Slingshot's very mobile units compared to like the APC. Steel Talons don't get APCs, so I'm really stuck with the Slingshot, which does its job. And I'm holding down the Alt key so I can keep track of these Storm Riders when they go into the Fog of War. That's something that you can do. You can hold down the Alt key when you've already given an attack command, and a waypoint will appear for you to tell you where that unit is in that in time. A little bit of a bug, but it can be used to your advantage. Now this is kind of like cat and mouse here. I'm trying to find some damage with these orcas. I've now got hard points, so I'm gonna have to return to base with my orcas if I want to make use of the hardpoint upgrade. These dev tanks here, I'm going to go in for them because I know that these Storm Riders are out of position. So I'm going to quickly kill these dev tanks, and then the slingshots can rock up just in time to kill the Storm Riders if they appear. Now my Harvester at the 3rd build is a little bit exposed. He could have had Storm Riders there killing it, but fortunately for me, I was able to get my slingshots there just in time. Lightning Spike comes down, so he's obviously aware that I have an expansion now, and he is Reaper 17, so he gets a free scan ability. So he can use a scan to detect my Harvester's refineries, and it will cost him nothing as this faction, because of course Reaper 17, that's what you get. You get cheaper tripod shields, better tripods, and a free scan, among other things. Better Shardwalker. They're the steamroller faction of the Skrins. Bunch of Storm Riders. Mechapede, that's going to fall. I mean, even if he had discs on that. Orcas simply just destroy Mechapedes in almost all circumstances.
Don't have much damage, do they? A little unfortunate, but hey, what can you do?
So of course you're hearing my live commentary and my dub commentary at the same time. I'm editing this in post. Text Center comes down. I'm going to upgrade that railguns as quick as possible because I'm up against tripods with shields, so I'm going to require those railguns to effectively counter tripods now, because these orcas, while good, he has now the chance to build counters. He's got Storm Riders, he continues to build them. He's also going to be building Shardwalkers, and when those blue shards come online, then, you know, see you later to those orcas. Orcas are no longer going to be effective. He's going to have all the upgrades he needs to counter this effectively. He's moving in here with his Storm Riders, hoping to counter the orcas on the deck, but as you see, I'm manually targeting down the Storm Rider on the lowest health, greatly diminishing the health and the attack power of that force. He only killed a singular orca there, which is good for me. I'm now starting to queue man of tanks. A bunch of tripods coming into my base at this point in time. Now this was a problem for me. I pulled my Harvesters, could have easily gone ahead and killed those, but since I pulled the Harvesters away, he's not going to be able to do that. And here you see the orcas with that hardpoint upgrade is going to save my life. This is this upgrade here saved me completely. I would have been out of Orca rockets by now, but the fact that I still have more remaining means I'm going to be able to just enough deal with this attack force. 2 additional Orcas come in, he was forced to use his phase field, I lost no harvesters, and that was just a great hold for me. I was really chuffed by that. I've now built all my Orcas almost. He still has those Storm Riders out on the map, but I've still got the Slingshots just to keep track of them. And this is the sort of gameplay that I would like to see more of. And remember guys, this was after such a failed strategy early on. And it's not like my opponent did a mistake. He held that as well as he could, unless he went for a fast tier 3 then of course, but he would be sacrificing his income for that. And I would have probably had the chance to get him more damaged out on his base. So he's now moving in with his tripods. He's going to be forced to pull back. Almost got in. Those tripods just came out of phase. Harvester gets destroyed there. And I'm now looking to take his engineer, his spikes over. I believe I have an engineer in one of these transports.
Transport stuck there.
Yeah, that was just a scout. When I make a rifle transport, it's not a mistake. I use it to scout my opponent's base. Very good for recon.
See what's going on here. Probably an infantry transition.
So I'm gonna not get jumped by his tripods because tripods do have the speed on me. And the last thing I want is for him to jump me with a bunch of tripods in my main base and take out my power, because that would just end me right there and then. 7 Orcas just standing by, waiting. I mean, I don't have to engage him, I'll just wait.
I don't know what he's up to.
That's true, I don't really know what he's up to at the moment, because I can't see his 3rd base, but I can assume that he's building a bunch of tripods, because it is Reaper 17, he's not going to be building infantry. I've got AP ammo. A bunch of Shard Walkers, of course, to deal with my infantry and also Orcas, so he can safely go for his tripod spam. He's got enough Shard Walkers there to kill my Orcas, and Storm Riders. Those Slingshots are not going to get in to kill anything. That transport, I think, is bugged. It's stuck there. I don't know if it's detecting for me, but it's handy if it is. I didn't grab that defensive tower, as you see next to my base. That's something that I could have taken, but
ready to move out.
That does get less effective.
Thanks for the follow.
As the game goes on, because of course I'm up against tier 3 units, and that is really only good against spikes and such. So it becomes less of an important asset later on. I mean, it still can be effective, but not quite. Now, I've got an ion cannon down, so he's on a cooldown now, on a timer. He could at this point build his own super weapon, but he will be behind by a minute on that super weapon compared to me. And by then, I believe the engagement will have finished. So this is going to force him into engaging me on my terms, which is exactly what I want as Steel Talons. And at this point on, it's going to be me avoiding his army and him avoiding my army, because both of us have a pretty effective fighting force. I'm even building a couple of these behemoths as well, so I can shoot from afar. But it does require me to force fire the ground with behemoths, because if you don't, they just shoot the ground. Tripods move too quick for the behemoths to hit.
Well, he needs to push soon, because I'll just win otherwise.
So I've got upgrades. I have the adaptive armor and also the railgun upgrade. Adaptive armor is very good. It gives you plus 60% armor on those mammoth tanks and titans. And as you see, the thing about Orcas that I love is the hit and run potential. They got a lot of DPS. They are glass cannons, alright? He does use his phase field.
Sick.
I was very impressed by that. Like, these Orcas forced a support power out that he has to wait for it to cool down. That's a 4-minute cooldown.
Oh, fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck?
So, of course, it can be a little bit frustrating playing because of all these pathing mistakes that can happen. That could have cost me if he went up the ramp there, because his army is huge. I wouldn't be able to stop it. My Orcas are almost out of ammunition. But fortunately for me, he chose not to do that. I see he's got the EMP control center there.
What I have to do is just wait until my ion cannon ticks down. The shard walkers make it very hard to engage.
So, I mean, at this point, neither one of us can really engage. I've got my shockwave artillery ready to go. He doesn't have his phase field, guys. He has his stasis shield, however, so both of us have a support power to use, but mine's a little more iffy because mine can miss, whereas the stasis shield is instantaneous. He does take back that spike, which I grabbed from him, and I see a couple tripods back there exposed. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can snipe one or two. These orcas getting 2 tripods, which is more than what a couple of hammerheads can accomplish, because the hammerheads just don't have the DPS to quickly kill these units before these shard walkers can respond. Here comes the storm riders, but because of how much damage those orcas dealt, he's too late to the party. He has to be there and then.
On hold. Cancel. Enemy unit sighted.
Still continuing to spam these map tanks. This is a game of positioning. Every little bit of damage I can do is great for me, but ultimately tripods are better in the long run. They just have better stats.
Select target.
And he doesn't have his shields for his shard walkers, something that he could have definitely got by now. But I don't really think he needs them. Lots of mammoth tanks there. I was hoping that I was thinking he would split his forces up.
I mean, I am the one with the super weapon here, so I really should be just defending myself.
Construction complete.
Which is precisely what I should do at this point. Sometimes I don't have the patience to wait until my ion cannon has cooled down. But I only have to wait 2 minutes and 10 seconds before I can wipe out his army. So he's got 2 options. He either splits up his army and waits for the cooldown, or he engages before I have my super weapon in one big push. Those are his options. His face field may not be cooled down just yet, and if he uses his stasis to avoid ion cannon damage, that's really good for me, because that means I'm going to be able to use my shockwave artillery without any answer from him. So I see once again that he's positioning his army, looking to get me out of position, and I've got these V35 Oxes, which I'm occasionally making just to scout where his army's going, because if I miss it for 1 second, that's me dead. 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the ion cannon. It is a very good super weapon now, because the animation was greatly sped up. May not look as epic, guys, but it is effective now. You can use it against units. Before it was really only good against structures, but it is as good, if not better, than the other super weapons. So here comes a big attack from him. I'm going to use my shockwave artillery here, but look how fast these tripods are moving. He's just crushing through this base here. I'm not even going to get all those tripods. He's moving away from my army. Uses the stasis shield on the bulk of my mammoth tanks. These behemoths are getting a little bit stranded, and this was a terrible engagement by me. I get only 2 tripods with my shockwave artillery. Orcas are out of position. I do have 2 of them. These tripods here, they are in force. He could rush into my base and take out everything. For some reason, he chose to come back over the ramp. Maybe because he knows that the super weapon is almost recharged. I can use that super weapon on his army. He has seconds left. Now, one thing that he told me after this game was, I tried to EMP the super weapon. I tried to EMP the super weapon, but the thing is, if you give a command to attack with tripods, it will use the EMP, and I imagine he tried to EMP the mammoth tanks, because since I've got the adaptive armor enabled, he has to wait 10 more seconds before he can EMP again. He's got that 1 tripod there, tries to EMP the super weapon, but if you rewind that back, you'll see that that happened there. Here comes the ion cannon. I'm going to use it on his army just in the nick of time. I was able to clean up all of those tripods just before everything fell, and that Storm Rider as well. I'm glad I got that, because he would have used that to kill the husks almost certainly, and I had no anti-air there to kill them. Now the bad news for me is this Buzzer Storm support power dealt so much damage, killing most of the husks for me to capture, and of course I can crush enemy husks as well.
Oh no. Oh, what?
Yeah, I had this mammoth tank on hold fire. This one here, as you see, it was on hold fire. I didn't know how that happened.
How do you get 1 husk out of that? No, don't crush that. Oh, fuck me.
That's what happens, man. That's what happens. I only got 1 or 2 tripod husks out of that ordeal. Though I do have a decent army. I do need it repaired though. Only 2 harvesters for me, but there's barely any Tiberium for me to harvest. I do have the spike lead over him. That's the good thing, but R-17 do have overall more income. In fact, I don't have the spikes. He took those back. 2 Mecha Peds here. Nice that I saw those. I'm going to snipe them once more, and that ion cannon is once again going to be a problem for him. It's cooling down. 5 minutes to go. And another mecha falls, so I'm taking all the engagements in the world here. I don't want to move out until I have those healed up, and also use these rifle oxes just to detect where on earth where he is in the game. Does he have any more units? Did he sell his tier 3? I need that vital intelligence. As for now though, I'm just going to go back to base, build a couple harvesters, and get some healing up on my army. I don't have my tier 3 any longer, so
GG.
I can't build that much.
How's he got no money? I only had 2 harvesters, man. He could have won that game, I still think.
Despite everything, he really could have still won that game. But I don't know, man. I had the super weapon, and he didn't know how much I had at my original base. So he decided to pack it in, and that's it. Losing 3 Mecha Peds was a bit of a fail there for him.
Of course, him going into my base
ready to move out.
meant that I had to use my ion cannon in my own base.
Anyways, guys, hope you all enjoyed this video, and this is Master Leaf. Peace out.